Bishop Johnston, the Episcopal Church seems to be out of step with the Anglican Communion on key issues. What would we lose if we decided to go our own way?
Well, first I'd like to say that we may indeed be out of step with a large part of the communion with respect to controversial issues, but not all controversial issues are key issues, and there are many key issues that are we're very much in step with the entirety of the communion, such as with education and evangelism and witness and serving the poor. So there are many ways in which we're quite in step with the communion. But with the controversial issues, perhaps most of all with sexuality, I think that if that caused us to lose our relationships with the communion, the first thing that we would lose, in my view, would be our Catholicity as a church, as the American or the Episcopal Church, and not just historic and theological Catholicity, but practical, on-the-ground Catholicity. We would be a church that's largely local. We do have some international dioceses, of course, but nothing near respect to the worldwide reach that we have now. So I would worry about losing Catholicity, and in that we would also lose most of our diversity. For all of our talk of celebrating diversity, losing our relationships with the communion would have the very unfortunate effect of making the church much more homogeneous than it's been, maybe from the time of its beginning after the Revolution. We'd be a church that looked very much alike and thought very much alike. And that's a tremendous loss for the kind of tradition that we like to lift up and celebrate, indeed. I think another thing that we would lose if we found ourselves in that unfortunate situation would be the relationships with churches that have so much to teach us. Now, we can certainly disagree about issues, but I know from my own experience in the Sudan, and I know from our mission partners around the whole world, how much these churches have to teach us, and that we must be very willing and ready to say that we need to learn. And these churches are extremely strong, profoundly strong in their witness. They do what they do with very few resources in many cases, and their joy and their commitment is something that is very inspiring to us, and I would hate to see us lose that. I think there's a sense, too, of how we would lose our ability to carry our voice into the Anglican communion, and that may be one of the most serious of that, is that the communion needs us as much as we need the communion.